Hey there, fellow travelers. My name is Chris and I'll be your guide for the day. We're heading out on Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. I'm sure many of you have walked along the Walk of Fame and seen many of the stars, but do you actually know how a celebrity gets one of those stars? Do you know how much it costs to have a star? Can you actually attend one of the induction ceremonies? And how many stars are added each year? Well, I have answers to all those questions, and I will also tell you about some interesting backstories about some of the stars and point out some unique ones as well. Before we kick things off, I have a question for you. Out of the 2,700 plus stars on the Walk of Fame in Hollywood, California, there's only one star that no one can walk on. Whose is it? A. Marilyn Monroe, B. Muhammad Ali, C. Michael Jackson, or D. Mickey Mouse? And no, this is not a trick question. All of these celebrities, and yes, including Mickey, actually have a star on the Walk of Fame. Let me know down in the comments below what your answer is, and I'll reveal that mysterious star later in the video. The stars on the Hollywood Walk of Fame are located on both sides of Hollywood Boulevard from Gower Street to La Brea Avenue, as well as on Vine Street from Sunset Boulevard to Yucca Street. The Walk of Fame is an internationally recognized icon and certainly a top visitor attraction in the Los Angeles area. It is estimated that the walk attracts 10 million visitors annually, giving the LA tourism sector a major boost. Alright, let's briefly talk about the history and how it all started. A man named E.M. Stewart, who served as the volunteer president of the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce, is credited with the idea of creating the Walk of Fame. It's not quite certain where the original idea came from, but the ceiling of the dining room of the historic Hollywood Hotel once had stars painted on the ceiling with names of celebrities, and that may have been a precursor of the idea to place stars on the sidewalks. That hotel was located right here where you see the Dolby Theater at the Hollywood and Highland complex today. The Oscars are held here every year, and this is where the celebrities walk along the red carpet into the Dolby Theater. Anyways, back to the history of the Walk of Fame. The so-called Hollywood Improvement Association moved forward with the idea of placing stars on the sidewalks between May 1956 and the fall of 1957 in selecting the honorees to be initially placed in the walk. At the time, 4 different categories were established: motion picture, television, recording, and radio. Each category was represented by a committee that included prominent names such as Walt Disney. The cost for building the walk was determined to be $1.25 million. And on August 15, 1958, the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce and the city unveiled 8 stars on Hollywood Boulevard at Highland Avenue to create buzz and to demonstrate what the walk would look like. The 8 honorees were Olive Borden, Ronald Colman, Louise Facenda, Preston Foster, Burt Lancaster, Edward Sedgwick, Ernest Torrance, and Joanne Woodward. However, the actual construction of the walk did not start until early 1960, with the first star of American director Stanley Kramer being laid near the intersection of Hollywood and Gower, which is the starting point of the Walk of Fame. By fall 1960, work on the walk has progressed so much that it was decided to dedicate the walk on November 23, 1960, in conjunction with the Hollywood Christmas Parade. The actual completion of the project with the first 1,558 stars was actually in spring 1961. However, that did not mean that all stars already had names in them, so the Hollywood Chamber of Commerce developed rules and procedures to add names to the vacant stars. This took several years and no names were added for about 7 years until 1968. That is when producer and studio executive Richard D. Zanuck's star was revealed in front of the world-famous Grauman's Chinese Theater, which today is called the TCL Chinese Theater. From this time forward, star ceremonies were held on a fairly regular basis. In 1972, Charlie Chaplin was awarded a star on the Walk of Fame, and by May 21, 1975, when Carol Burnett received her honors, a total of 99 names had been added to the original walk. In 1980, the Chamber presented a star to entertainer Johnny Grant, who then went on chairing the Walk of Fame committee. Under his leadership, a fifth category of live theater was added in 1984 to allow persons who excelled in all types of live performance to be considered for stars. Grant also solved the problem of running out of space to add stars by adding a second row of stars on the sidewalks, which would alternate with the existing stars. On February 1st, 1994, the Walk of Fame was extended one block to the west from Sycamore to La Brea on Hollywood Boulevard. 30 stars were added, and Sophia Loren was honored with the star number 2000 on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Today, an average of 2 to 3 stars are added to the walk on a monthly basis, and there are currently more than 2,700 stars. And just recently, in April 2021, sports entertainment was added as the 6th category. So how can you attend a ceremony? Well, back in March, I went to the induction ceremony of the Red Hot Chili Peppers, who received their star in front of the new Amoeba Music location on Hollywood Boulevard. All star ceremonies are free to attend. There is a public viewing area for all Walk of Fame star ceremonies, and there are no fees to attend, and you don't even need any kind of tickets. The ceremonies begin promptly at 11:30 a.m. and take about 45 minutes. All of these events are streamed live exclusively on walkoffame.com.
Hi everybody! I was 11 years old. I panhandled on this street. Excuse me, sir. Can you spare some change? Just a dime or a nickel? When I was in high school, I marched on this street playing trumpet in the Hollywood High Marching Band. And I went and played trumpet at USC too when I was in my 40s. Fairfax High had an excess of trumpet players, and I went to Fairfax. Me and Anthony went there. Hollywood needed one. But I know this street inside out, and this street knows me. And whenever we've traveled around the world, this street has always been a part of me. And I'm really grateful that now we can be a part of it.
So what is the cost of a Walk of Fame star ceremony? There is a $50,000 sponsorship fee upon selection. The fee is used to pay for the creation and installation of the star, as well as maintenance of the Walk of Fame. So what are the requirements to get on the Hollywood Walk of Fame? Nominees must have a minimum of 5 years experience in the category for which they are nominated, and a history of charitable contributions. And who can nominate someone for a Walk of Fame star? Actually, anyone, including a fan, can fill out a Walk of Fame nomination form and nominate a celebrity as long as the celebrity or their management is in agreement with the nomination. If there is no letter of agreement included from the celebrity, the committee will not accept the application. How often are stars voted in? They are voted in once a year in June. An average of about 24 to 30 stars are selected per year out of the 200 to 300 applications the committee receives each year. Alright, now let's get into some backstories about the locations of some of the stars. In reference to Roger Moore and Daniel Craig's roles as James Bond 007, their stars are actually located at the address 7007 Hollywood Boulevard. Jay Leno requested his star to be placed at the intersection of Hollywood and Highland, as he was twice picked up by police for vagrancy at this location when he first arrived in Hollywood. The Dead End Kids, who were a group of young actors from New York who appeared in Sidney Kingsley's Broadway play Dead End in 1935, are actually at the westernmost point of the walk, due to their name, Dead End Kids. And Lin-Manuel Miranda chose to be in front of the Pantages Theater, where his musicals In the Heights and Hamilton played. There are also some unique alternative star designs as well as special category stars. Here we have a Victoria's Secret star showing their logo, as well as the baseball team LA Dodgers with their logo. And as you approach Vine Street on Hollywood Boulevard, you'll see the Apollo 11 moon mission, which obviously does not fit into any of the categories. So the selection committee made an exception, recognizing the Apollo 11 astronauts for their contributions to the television industry by adding 4 identical circular moons at each of the 4 corners of Hollywood and Vine. As you enter the iconic Roosevelt Hotel, you see a star for LA's former mayor, Tom Bradley, with the seal of the city of Los Angeles. Also, whenever you are visiting the Walk of Fame, make sure to walk through the Roosevelt Hotel. It's such a glamorous, classic Hollywood hotel, and you feel like Marilyn Monroe or Clark Gable might be walking by you at any moment. The 60s style Tropicana pool in the back of the hotel is really cool as well and worth visiting. As you leave the Roosevelt Hotel on Hollywood Boulevard, make a left and you'll see this Walk of Fame mural, which was unveiled last year in June 2021 to celebrate the 60th year anniversary of the Walk of Fame. Alright, the time has come and we'll get to the answer of the question that I asked at the beginning of our tour. So Marilyn Monroe's star is at the intersection of Hollywood and Highland, and as you can see, it's on the sidewalk and people can walk on it. The same counts for Michael Jackson's star, which is near the Grauman's Chinese Theater. Mickey Mouse was actually the first animated character to receive a star, but as you can see, it is also located on the sidewalk where people can step on. That leaves us with the iconic boxer Muhammad Ali. In 2002, he was honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. For the first time ever, a star was not placed on the sidewalk, but instead it now adorns a wall at the Dolby Theater Entertainment Complex. Ali requested that his name not be walked upon, as he shared his name with the Prophet Muhammad. The committee made quite some exceptions here and also decided that boxing could be considered a form of live performance, and therefore he was added into that category, while the sports entertainment category was not available at that time. I'm excited to see how many of you got that answer right. And with that, we conclude our tour of the Hollywood Walk of Fame. If you enjoyed the tour, please consider subscribing to my channel and hitting that like button on the video. I really appreciate it, and with that I say thank you and Dankeschön!